We good? How do you feel about today? Yeah, you tired? Way to work though. Way to work, because this is where everything starts. Is the things that aren't required. This is where you get that playing time you want to deserve, and that playing time where you feel like you didn't get last year. Put in extra work. All right, that's why you're out here, and because you're disciplined and committed to your goals, right? So, my name is Kaz Langness. Like you probably know, I'm from Minnesota. Uh, Someone asked me one question that you want to know.
How tall are you?
6'3".
Did you play basketball in high school?
Yeah. I did play basketball in high school.
Did you play anything else?
I ran track, cross country, tennis, and basketball.
What events did you run track?
100, 200,
What were you
4x2, 4x4. Something like 23s, maybe.
Your 100?
You want to share them what you're up to now?
23.
Eventually. We got 4 days, remember?
You gotta earn it.
We got 4 days. Yeah.
I got 21.
You got 21s and 200? Oh boy. What?
Light.
Light? Hey.
Slow is crazy.
It's different because like I'm from a small town up in Peninsula of Michigan, so like we didn't quite have the structured coaches. People know like what you guys are being coached, how you're being coached right now. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it because they know what they're talking about and they know what it takes to get to the level that you want to be at. And so take advantage of it. But we're gonna get started here. I got 4 days with you. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm out here for you guys. I want to provide value and impact your life in a positive way because you are important. But you need to know you're important too. Off the basketball court and on the basketball court. And when we talk about importance, we talk about our go through. Because we all have a story, right? We all have a story. We've all been in a place of where we've lost confidence. We've lost confidence within ourselves and within other people. We've been discouraged. Most importantly, sometimes we've lost the faith that we have in ourselves and in God. And so I want to talk to you today on faith, which is the most important thing in my life, and our go through. Because there's only one of us. How many people do you know that there's another person of you? 0. How about you? 0. How many people do you know that have the same story as you? None. But how many people do you know that have shared similar experiences? A few. And that's the important thing, guys. We're human. We've shared same experiences. We've shared same struggles. We've shared same battles. But there's only one of us. And so what we go through, we can help each other overcome the adverse times, overcome the denial, overcome the betrayal of other people, overcome the things of where we're going through a hard time. But guess what? I just got out of that hard time. I'm going to come here and stand by you and walk alongside you and help you. Because I know what it feels like to be there. I know what it feels like to be benched. I know what it feels like to not get a starting job. I know what it feels like to miss 18 of your shots that you took and you shot 23. I know what it feels like to lose a game, to get hurt. I know what it feels like. So I want to start off with this quote. All right? I want to start off with this quote. I'm a big quote guy. I love quotes. And I think if you think about quotes in a proper manner, you can break it down and think about, wow, I'm going to implement maybe this word in my life. I'm going to implement maybe this line in my life. I'm going to try to live by it. Because if I live by it, then it can go on to produce excellence. So this quote comes to you by Dale Carnegie. And it says, Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no help at all. Back in 7th grade, I tried out for my basketball team. I was a bucket. I'll tell you that. I was a walking bucket. I was like Kobe in his prime. So this trial was like 3 days. And when I say I was a walking bucket, I was hitting shots like Kobe in his prime. Rest in peace, Mamba. And so the coach brings us at the end of the 3 days to the bleachers, gives us an envelope, letting us know whether or not we made the team. And in my head, I'm thinking, you're not better than me. You're not better than me. You're not better than me. And there's 18 of us there, so I'm not gonna be one of the three that get cut and 15 make it. So I was like, I'll see you guys next week at practice. I get home, rush to the living room, rip open my ticket to the NBA, scanning through it. My heart sunk. Words that said, I regret to inform you. Tears just started flushing out of my eyes. Dude, I was devastated. I was hurt. It was tough. Because instantly I thought, who made the team? I'm not one of the 15? How am I not one of the 15? I was literally hitting shots out there, like I said, Kobe in his prime. I was literally one of the most athletic guys. I put my time in for this. I was out in the cold in my driveway shooting buckets for this. And I didn't make the team. My brother, who was home over Thanksgiving, came to me and he's like, why don't you ask the coach if you can be the manager for the year and practice with them? I already have to go to school the next day and say I didn't make the team to everyone. You think I want to go to practice and not even be on the team, but practice with them, not play? Who wants to just practice, right? We're talking about practice here. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice here. You guys didn't catch that, did you? That's AI. You guys know what AI is?
I caught it.
You caught it? Yeah. And so I thought about it. And after calling my best friend and telling him I didn't make the team, I was just bawling to him, man. And he's like, it's okay, bro. I think you deserve to make it. So I called the coach after further thought. I was like, hey, coach, thanks for letting me try out. Sorry I couldn't be your MJ, but I was wondering if I could practice with the team for the year and be the manager. He goes, yeah, I think that's a great idea. It'll allow you to get better and understand the game. And that was my first year ever really playing basketball. And so looking back, I'm not surprised I got cut because, guys, I want you to understand this. When you first start something, you're not going to be good right away. You're not going to be good. You're going to be pretty bad if you ask me. Kobe Bryant went all summer when he first started playing basketball without scoring a single point. Now I want you to Google his name and see where he's landed. I want to look up in the rafters at the Staples Center, crypto, and see where he's landed, right? Because it's hard enough to be good at something that you didn't work for. And I don't think I've necessarily put in the work to be making that team, but I felt like I deserved it, even though I was out there shooting hoops for 20, 30 minutes. It's going to take more than that. It's going to take hours and hours and hours, making sure the diet's the right way, making sure your mindset's the right way, making sure you're the right way. And so going to those practices, it taught me a lot. Most importantly, it taught me perseverance. Most importantly, it taught me to work for something that I knew I should have. Most importantly, it taught me resiliency, which is one of the principles we're going to be hitting home on every single day this week. Resiliency. Because without resiliency, you're not going to get through much. How many missed a shot today? How many kept shooting? That's resiliency right there. You didn't give up. How many got knocked down today? How many got back up? That's resiliency right there. How many doubted themselves today? How many of you are still here today? That's resiliency right there. So going to those practices, I was able to develop one of the most important principles you can have in your life. Because it's important. You cannot get through this life without facing adverse times. Because there is no great victory without adversity. So throughout high school, I continued to play basketball. But I made one mistake before high school. I transferred schools because I wanted to take the easy way out. I felt that me trying to trying to beat out 18 people instead of automatically making the team that only had 8 people at the other school was going to be easier. And thinking about it, it was easier. I mean, I helped our team win a championship in 8th grade. I learned a lot about basketball that year. I got a little bit more playing time. And the coach, he had faith in me. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. He saw something in me that the other coach didn't see. He saw something in me that my high school coaches didn't see. He was the hardest coach I've ever had in 8th grade. How many of you have watched film? A little bit. How many of you have had team meetings every single day before practice discussing a principle, a life principle? That's what we went through. Every single day before practice, discussing a life principle, watching film of our game that we previously had in 8th grade. My teammates would be watching. I'd be hearing, dude, I just want to go practice. Why do we got to watch this? Why do we have to do this? Well, guess what? What do the greats do? They study themselves. They study other people. They watch film on film on film. Because they understand that they've had to go through something to get to where they are right now. And they don't want to go through that again. So they're going to be faithful to what God's given them and the gift that He's given them. They're going to be faithful to the opportunity that's at hand. They're going to be faithful to their gifts that they can help other people in this world. So in 8th grade, win the championship, go on to high school. I'm coming into my freshman season with unshakable confidence, I'll tell you that. In a blink of an eye, that confidence left. 3 days in, the coach already had the starters picked. And it wasn't even sophomore year, junior year, first or senior year. It was a freshman team. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, well, that didn't go how I wanted it. The one thing that I never lost was the belief inside myself. I might have lost confidence for a little bit, but I didn't lose belief inside myself. I didn't get much playing time that year. I didn't get much playing time my sophomore year. I quit my junior year to focus on a different sport. And I didn't get much playing time my senior year. But throughout those years, I maintained a level of self-belief. My confidence was brought back to me because I was able to excel in other sports. So I knew that even though the coaches may not be giving me the playing time I think I deserve, one person isn't going to dictate your life. One person isn't going to make your or break your life. You're the one who makes or breaks your life. Because the world will try to tell you who you can become and what you can do and what you can't do. But it's up to you to dictate that. You control it. No one else controls it except for you. So even though I was riding pine and getting my booty sore all 4 years of high school, I was still able to go on and play college basketball. One, why? For one, unshakable confidence. 2, resilient. 3, I was willing to sacrifice, stay committed. Because I knew what I had inside of myself. I didn't care that my teammate in high school told me I'll never become a starter. It doesn't faze me. I ran cross country. Tried running 3.1 miles without having someone to tag in, without having a halftime, without having a timeout. Running 3 miles straight. Who's going to help you get through that? Who? Yourself. You're spending 15 to 20 minutes all by yourself suffering. Yes, there's other runners, but they're not going to piggyback for you. So you want to try to tell me that I'm not going to be anything, I'm not going to be good enough, or I don't deserve that, or I'm not worthy for that. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Now I want to ask you this question. What are you telling yourself? And really, what are you telling yourself? And are you actually believing in yourself right now? Because one thing about self-belief is wherever you want to get to, the top of the mountain, you have to believe in each and every single step. Because adversity is going to come. Challenges are going to come. Opposition is going to come. My dream was to play in the NBA. My first year trying to play basketball, I faced some adversity. I faced the challenge I had to get through. And I continue to face it the next 3, 4, 5 years. Yes, I may not be in the NBA, but the one thing about a dream is just a destination. It's never the final outcome. When you get to the destination, that's great. But I'm glad I'm not in the NBA, or else I wouldn't be here with you today. I'm glad I'm not in the NBA, or else I would not be the person I am today. I'm glad I'm not in the NBA, or else I wouldn't have the opportunities to impact other lives like I do today. I'm glad that everyone doubted me. Everyone and their mama doubted me. And I still came out on top. I still accomplished a goal of mine. I became a starter in college. Because I played defense. Because I sacrificed my body to take charges. Because I communicated with my teammates. Because I was committed to my teammates. Because I was committed to myself. I was committed to the goals that I set for myself. And without commitment, you won't ever finish. Without commitment, you're not really going to be able to accomplish too much along the mountaintop. You won't be able to use those steps that you take each and every single day and get to where you want to be. You won't be able to get that JV nod, that varsity nod. You won't be able to average 15 points a game. You won't be able to average 3 steals a game. Because if you're not committed to yourself, how can you be committed to anything else? If you're not committed, you can kiss that mountaintop goodbye. So throughout the time of adversity and challenges, you're going to have to do one thing for me. And that is respect the process. Respect the process. God is my driving force. And I'll say that to the day I die. And I believe that I'm here because of God. I'm not here by my own doing. I'm here because of God and my faith. And there's this story about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Bible. And, one of the commandments that we should live by, I encourage others to live by, and I try to live by the best of my ability, is You shall not have any other gods, which means, what are you spending your time on? Are you spending your time wasting it on video games, TV, movies, sleeping, other people, your phone? What are you spending your time on? What do you value most importantly in your life? And if you value that above your faith, that's serving another God. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had King Nebuchadnezzar, and he told them to bow down to his golden statue. And they said, we don't do that. We serve one God and one God only. And he said, all right, you know what? Fine then. Don't bow down. See that furnace over there? I'm going to throw you in it. Have fun. Bye-bye. So he threw all three of them in there. He looks back a few moments later. He's like, there's only three of them. Why is there four? He's like, the other one looks like like an angel. And he calls them out. Unscathed. Scratch free. Not even a smell of fire on them. And he asked, how? The reply, God. Because they had the confidence in God. They had their faith in God. They understand that no matter what I go through, God's right there with me along the way, each and every single step of the way. That I respect this process. Because, guys, when you don't live for the world and you live for God and you live for what God's trying to tell you to do and like wants you to follow his plan, the world's not going to like you. It's not. It's going to criticize you. It's going to be rude to you. It's going to separate you. It's going to do all the things that you can imagine to try to get you off of your path. That's what Nebuchadnezzar was trying to do to them. He was trying to get them to bow down to a fake idol, a statue. It's like bowing down to Mount Rushmore. No point in it. So when that happened, Nebuchadnezzar understood that, wow, this God is real. Because who's ever gotten burned before? It's not too hard to get burned or sunburned. Now go in the fire full of furnace, that's a different story. So they understood that they have to respect the process. Because without respecting the process, how can any of us accomplish anything? What I mean by respect the process, I mean by trusting the process, being patient with the process. When I say being patient, understand that you're not going to be good right away. Like I said, you're not going to be good right away. But it's the patience, it's developing. You think Steph Curry changed the game because he just shot threes from birth? No. He started from under the hoop, mastering that, taking a step back, taking a step back, taking a step back, taking a step back. He was patient with it. He understood that, listen, I want to be great like my dad. I want to be a great shooter too. But I understand I got to be patient with it. I got to trust it. I got to respect it. And along the way, you see what happens with Curry. It's baby steps. Because no matter what you do, if you're not resilient, if you're not committed, if you're not faithful, and if you don't respect the process, guys, it's going to be a tough life. It's going to be a very tough life. Because it's not easy. When you understand this is all part of the process, though, going through these different emotions, going through these different struggles of life, going through these different seasons of life, you will find yourself I'll say you'll find yourself in a different. I like money. I'm sure some of you do too. But you'll find yourself in a different tax bracket, as the world wants to call it. And you'll find yourself waking up with gratitude, living your life joyful, being able to play the game with peace, being able to take losses like a win, because a loss teaches you a lot. And a loss is supposed to be a loss because that means that you have something you can improve on. You have failure that you just faced. Now, what are you going to do about it? And when you face that failure, if you're respecting the process, the results will show. The results will show. Does that make sense? If you face failure and you're resilient, the results will show. If you face failure and you're committed, the right results will show. If you face failure and you're confident, the right results will show. All failure is just an F word to try to put fear inside of you. All failure is just an obstacle. But if I wanted to play college basketball, the obstacle will always be the way. And that starts off by getting cut, having a coach believe in me, having no coaches believe in me, and then ending with a coach believe in me and getting that starting spot. Face the failure of life with an unshakable mindset. That's about it for today, boys. You got any questions? No questions? None? You ready to rock?
What stood out? Oh, resonated with you. I have a question.
Yeah.
What college?
I went to Afflerbus. It's a Bible college over in Minnesota.
Bible college, you said?
Yeah.
What has been your biggest challenge after high school? I mean, college.
It's a good question. Honestly, just staying true to myself. It's been the biggest challenge because when I was entered the world, and I faced different temptations like the party scene or or the girls and drugs and things like that. It's hard to not live a fake life, and it's hard to try to imitate someone else's life. But when I understood that this isn't bringing me any happiness, this isn't bringing me any results of where I want to be, then it's like, all right, I gotta look inside of myself, and I gotta understand that what I'm going through, it can help me in the future, but only if I allow it to, and only if I'm real with myself. So that's probably the hardest thing I had to face is like understanding like who I am.
Did you do any of those things in high school?
Party and stuff? Nah, I didn't. That's a good question because like sometimes I wish I did, but I'm glad I didn't.
Be smart when you're being stupid. I'm just gonna say that right now.
You did do too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's only with you. I'm not
Yeah.
I know I was in high school too. All right, and then one thing I'll continue to add on, right? We all have our different beliefs in terms of religion, right? And so that's something that's important to Taz. And I think really what, just to echo, he's talking about that belief in self, right? That purpose in yourself that we want to continue to live with, right? So take that, his message, his stories, and relate them to your own, right? We've all been through different failures and different opportunities and setbacks. So just think about it in that way.
Yeah. I need one thing from you guys before you guys head out of here. I need to grab your notebooks, and I need your notes from today. Can you rip them out for me?
We'll give them back. We'll give them back.
Yeah. From today only.
I was just on the other side.
Now, you don't have to
Are
write
you
their
born
name.
Christian?
What?
Do they need to write their name?
Go ahead. You can write your name. Was I born Christian?
Yeah.
Um,
Your family.
I was adopted when I was 10, so my adopted family had faith, and we always were going to church. I tell you what, I didn't want to go to church. I didn't really want to involve myself in God in high school, but I did. So
What do we do with